What's up and welcome. This is me, you, and Switch 2. I am me, Tom Tate, and you are you. So let's talk about Switch 2. This is the latest and greatest Nintendo Switch 2 news brought to you every Tuesday and Friday in snackable 10-minute episodes. And today happens to be Friday. It is January 9th, 2026. It is 6:46 a.m. here on the East Coast. This is episode 64, which of course has a nice kind of Nintendo ring to it. So I'll probably work 64 into the title of this episode. I'm super stoked today. One, it's the weekend, or at least we're very close to the weekend, maybe 8-9 hours away from it. And two, we finally have some news to cover. We have a lot of it. So I've got my coffee, I've got my notes up, and we're just going to dive in. So it was reported by the Game Business that the United States Switch 2 sales over the holiday period were down around 35% compared to the Switch 1's sales performance back in 2017. I don't think that's too surprising personally, given that gaming sales have just generally been down this year. We had a couple headlines earlier in the year, or 2025 that is. I don't know how much credence to give this, but they said that an unnamed Nintendo exec blamed it on a complicated economic climate today and the absence of a major Western game during the year-end period. And that totally checks out because you had Super Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild as system sellers back in 2017. And I'd argue that even though Donkey Kong Bonanza is incredible and it was built by the Mario team, it just doesn't have the same weight as a Mario or a Zelda title. So speaking of system sellers, Nintendo is starting to call everyone aboard the hype train for their next big title, which is Mario Tennis Fever. We got a 5 to 6 minute trailer, which I'll link to in the show notes, that showed off the newest features for this franchise. That is Fever Rackets, which have all sorts of power-ups. We got a glimpse of this early on, but this goes a little bit deeper into it. This game also has 38 playable characters, which feels much higher than previous Nintendo sports games titles, at least in my recollection. Baby Waluigi is the one character that is getting a ton of attention on the internet. There's also the flower, the talking flower from Mario Wonder. We're also getting a physical talking flower later this year, but there's a flower that is joining the game as play-by-play commentator for tournament mode, which I think is very charming because the joke is kind of like everyone was annoyed by the talking flower, and now it's going to give you the play-by-play, which is awesome. This game looks like a lot of fun, but I don't know if it's a console mover. It'll launch on February 12th, 2026, alongside Switch 2's first set of new colored Joy-Cons. We're getting light purple and light green Joy-Con 2s. They will retail for $100. There was some pushback on the internet about these two because the full Joy-Con isn't the light purple and light green color. It's just accented. So they're really just the same color as the other Joy-Cons, just with different accent colors. The company D-Brand actually put out an ad where they're going to be selling skins that just kind of reskin the whole thing in the same color, if that's what you're looking for. I caught some other controller and accessory headlines this week that I thought were pretty awesome. GameSir and Hyperkin, they announced the X5 Alteron. It's a very interesting name, but this is a telescopic controller, so it expands to fit your phone, your tablet, but it can also fit your Switch 1 and Switch 2. I actually have a GameSir G8 telescopic controller. It is my absolute favorite controller to use for Switch 2, which makes the X5 Alteron very interesting. For this one, though, it has something that is super unique. It has a modular component on both sides so that the left side you can flip the config to be like D-pad on top, analog stick on the bottom, or vice versa. And on the right side, they have these different modules to emulate the button layouts of a Nintendo 64, a GameCube, 6-button, kind of like Sega Genesis, although it's vertical, or like a fight pad layout. And then it has a traditional layout. Now, if this thing feels good, this will be incredible, especially for Nintendo Switch Online games, just to be able to swap in the N64 layout, play some Ocarina of Time, swap in the GameCube layout, play some Wind Waker. It'll also be great for emulation too. So if you do emulation on an Android device, this could be really, really interesting for you as well. The company Belkin announced a $100 Pro charging case with a bunch of features, including a rechargeable battery for Switch 2. I'll link to that in the show notes if you want to learn more. So let's wrap things up with some game news. Resident Evil Requiem got some special screen time during NVIDIA's PC showcase. It showed a city environment that appeared to be more open and more populated than we've seen in previous Resident Evil games, which is a unique setting that I think will be very interesting. This game will be here before you know it, I think February 27th, along with the previous Resident Evil games that did not come to Switch or Switch 2. I was just talking about this in the last episode. I was talking about how I'm not excited for James Bond's new entry, 007 First Light, mostly because I feel like every game since GoldenEye has promised to be better than GoldenEye. And Go Nintendo released an article that I stumbled upon all about the game, and I quote, "Decades after its arrival, the team at IO Interactive is looking to dethrone the king with their latest effort." And the specific quote from the IO Interactive senior licensing producer listed here, his name is Thunes Smith. He said, "I mean, obviously acknowledging it is a fantastic game. There's a lot of praise and a lot of nostalgia that goes with that. But for us, we're focused on what we're putting forward, which is in essence a third-person story-driven action-adventure game. It is a far wider and more expansive offering and gameplay experience that we're bringing forward. So once people get their hands on it and get to play it and get to experience that for themselves, I mean, there's something really special we have on our hands here, and we can't wait for you to get yours on it as well." That'll be in May 27th, I think specifically, that we'll get our hands on 007. I still don't know, but there it is. They are promising to dethrone the king. I'm also going to link to 2 Nintendo Insider articles. One is a preview and a trailer video for Chroma Gun 2, which looks challenging and fun. It's kind of a unique puzzle game. That'll land on February 12th. And this is a new one for me. It's called Bandit Trap. This is a 3-versus-1 multiplayer game. Here's a quote from the article. In the game, one intrepid trapper is pitted against 3 scheming bandits who are seeking to steal treasure from their house. The trapper is challenged to outsmart the thieves to defend their home, while the bandits must secure the treasure and safely make their escape in one piece. So this is, dare I say, Home Alone-like. This is Home Alone-inspired. It'll hit the shop, the eShop, on February 6th. Interesting art style. I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Might be a fun little indie title. I'm sure it's not going to be super expensive. And then finally, from the rumor mill, Bethesda may be bringing Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas remasters to consoles, which may also include Nintendo Switch 2. We don't have much details on this. We know Fallout 4 is coming to Nintendo Switch 2, but we might get 3 and New Vegas. If you've been watching the Amazon series, it takes place in New Vegas. I've been having a lot of fun with that series. It's been great. Someone discovered that Nintendo renewed the trademark for Zelda Triforce Heroes and Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, which may or may not be anything. That is, I think, a 3DS title with Triforce Heroes and a Wii U title with Ultra Smash. That's it for today, though. I'll also drop the link to that Mario Tennis Fever trailer, the 5 to 6 minute one, if you want to watch that. It's up on Nintendo's official YouTube channel. As always, I want to thank you so much for your time and your attention. A kind rating or review on your podcast listening app of choice helps me continue to grow the show. Sharing with a friend, family member, Discord server, subreddit, or wherever gamers hang out goes even further. Switch2pod.com for all the things. Much love. Now go play some games.